Okay, so it is 5:33. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. It's nice to see everyone. And tonight's a special meeting. I want to ask for a motion to open the meeting, please.
I would make a motion to open the council meeting.
Second.
All right, so all in agreement, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Okay, so next we're going to do the invocation. Scott, if you please.
So pray. Dear Lord, we do thank you for who you are. We thank you for your mercy, your grace, your power. We thank you for the free country we live in, and for the opportunity we have to govern ourselves, to celebrate Mr. Mitchell and his service. And we thank you for that. We just pray you bless this night. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And now we'll lead with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Mitchell, you always start us off if you don't mind. I pledge allegiance. You don't need to stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, can I get an approval of the agenda, please?
I have one adjustment.
Yes,
to the
please.
agenda. It's page 19 in the agenda we have. Under Jack Gross, final public comments.
Are you talking about the minutes? Which minutes? Is that some minutes are you talking about? The July?
Oh, I'm sorry, the agenda. As for the agenda, if we have a guest from Zito, I really feel that he should be.
I'd like to do that, yes, we'd like to move him forwards.
And Senator Corbin, is he here this evening?
He was going to try to call in on his phone. He's traveling from Raleigh back to Franklin. He said he's going to try stuff. We're watching for a number to pop up and then we'll connect him, but I don't want to delay the meeting anymore.
Okay,
So yes, I'd
since
like
this
to
will
move.
probably be a very long meeting, you have a few events listed that are social events. Can we get our budget amendments and response plan moved up so that we can take care of business over reports on social?
Well, it'd be kind of hard on the old business and one is new business. The two things are new business. We'll run through quickly, I promise you. Okay, so we're going to move Mr. Stuckey up to near to the beginning under public comment area. And can we just let the motion stay as that to have the agenda, please?
Which one are you talking about?
Moving Mr. Daniel Stuckey up to the top where it's under before public comment. Yes, ma'am. And the old business for the report on the firemen's and the report on the great dinner. It's just going to be a quick, but it was old business, so I can't really move old business to new business. So can we just get a motion to accept the agenda with the one change, please?
I'll make a motion to accept the one change.
I'll second. Are we in agreement?
Okay.
Thank you. Aye? Okay, very well. Let's move on to the approval of the July 13th, 2023 council meeting minutes, please. You had a chance to review them.
Okay, I do have a change to the minutes. Under final public comment, Jack Gross. I made a statement,
I'm sorry, Diana, is this the July 13th or the August 17th one that you're looking at?
whatever the first one
The
we
first one is
have.
July 13th, okay.
Yeah. I made a statement response to his comment. It says Dinah stated the bricks were $36,000 through the tourism development and then $10,000. So we're going to have a small sign thanking the donors because a lot of people in this town made a difference. It is the $36,000 is through the Thunderbird Property Owners Association.
Okay.
And the $10,000 is tourism development.
Okay.
All right, so
we'll make that
a
change.
motion with that change.
Yes,
Make a motion to accept with the change.
thank you. And I'll second that. So we can pass the July 13th minutes now?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. How about the August 17, 2023 minutes? Have you had a chance to review them? Are there any changes or corrections? That was a special. Okay, can I have a motion?
I make a
Pass
motion
that.
to pass the special meeting minutes.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor?
Um,
Aye. Very well. Okay, so the presentation of the financial and tax report for June 2023 and July 2023. We have 2 months worth here. Kayla, do you want to, or is going to be Kim? Kim, can you?
Yes. The one for July was $18,000, the taxes $18,856.79. August was $21,954.35. I'm sure everybody had a chance to look over the financials. This early in the year, there's not a whole lot to talk about. Tina, do you have anything in particular? We have started working on the culverts for the grant, but we haven't, I don't think we've paid anything out for that yet.
Just for the financials, Scott can tell you he's looked at some new trucks. So he's ordered one, but there might be one that comes in sooner that might be ready. Scott, if you wanted to talk about the truck. That's the
Yeah, so we
financial
ordered
thing.
one with no commitment, but just to get, because nobody can know how long it's going to take. And then,
Can everybody hear Scott?
and then
They might not be.
Marshall's friend called, and he said he potentially would have information tomorrow on one. So,
Yeah, that's in Gaffney, South Carolina.
yeah, but he would have to order it too, so. Anyway, so it's, the
How far
process
out
has
are we?
started.
Okay, how far out is
At least
this?
6, 7 weeks.
Okay, so our next council meeting would be able to,
We'll
Have
have
more
more
information?
maybe.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Perfect.
So we're hoping to get it before the winter, so that it can be equipped with everything that it needs to be equipped for the salter and the snow pusher.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah, ideally, that's what we're hoping for. So that's a new financial.
Thank you. Thank you for planning that. How about the equipment? Have you been able to order the skills of the concrete saw?
I just have got to go up there and get it, but yeah, so.
All right, you're on the ball. Thank you. All right, everyone, we're moving along. Anything else on financials?
Kim, do you have anything else?
Kim, did we lose you?
No,
Okay.
no, I did not.
Okay, so now what I'd like to do is, I'd like to introduce, if you're okay, Ralph, I'd like to move ahead to Daniel Stuckey. Daniel Stuckey is a representative with Zito Media. And Daniel, would you like to introduce yourself, please, if you can? I hope you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel. I'm an escalation coordinator with Zito. We work more one-on-one with customers that have ongoing service issues, and that's kind of what we do. And we work directly with the technicians in the area to make sure these ongoing issues are resolved. So I have worked with a couple of you resolving some of these issues, and I'm completely open for comments. If anybody is having any more ongoing issues, I can definitely go ahead and take a look into this.
Did you understand his question? This gentleman was the one, this is how this all started. About 3.5 weeks ago, we were having such issues with the internet here at the office, and I had finally gotten pretty much fed up. I started calling numbers, and I ended up reaching the president of Zito. And I said to him, we're a small town, we're only like 200 homes, probably about 130 of them possibly have internet, but we have issues, there's problems. So they were gracious, he was gracious enough to introduce me to Daniel Stuckey, and we talked for a while, and he started saying, let me know what's going on. So I had the office send a mass email out telling people, please contact the office if you're having issues with Zito Media, if you're having issues with your phone, or you interrupted service, what's going on in your home. So that's the way I started. In less than an hour and a half to 2 hours, I got 16 emails from people, and they were very, very, they were saying, this is what's happening to me. and this is my problem, and this is where I'm at with this. So I combined all these, any email that came in, I emailed it directly to Mr. Stuckey, and he was able to, God bless, he was able to call these people, handle the situation, get the help they needed, and 2 days later, no joke, I had 2 giant Zito trucks, I have pictures of them out in our parking lot, wanting to know what they could do to help us. So, Mr. Stuckey, thank you very much for helping us and sticking with us and answering the people on the emails. And now I think we're up to about 30 different emails from people coming in with different situations, and they're all different. So this is where we're at.
Already, yeah, perfect. I'm glad that we are hearing some positive feedback. That's definitely what we are here for. And if, like I said, if anybody else does have any ongoing issues, or maybe your issues just aren't resolved yet working with me, we may still be working on some maintenance. I know that we've been out there the past couple of weeks working on repairing some different things and replacing things that were pulled. So it's definitely going to take some time to get this replaced, but I'm glad that we are seeing some positive feedback from you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I talked to you yesterday, and our technician came by today and replaced a connection on our coaxial. So I do hope that that will take care of our problems. I don't know if I had mentioned Mary Humplet having problems, so I don't know if Tech went to visit them. But I'm actually getting better.
He came twice today.
Okay.
And got it fixed, and I've got great internet now. He just left right before the meeting started.
I see Daniel, I'm so glad you're here. This is very encouraging. Okay. So
yeah, I'll definitely be following up with you all. It's not a one and done. I will make sure that this is a long-term fix. I don't want to follow up with you one time and think that it's a long-term fix. I want to make sure that this is a long-term fix for everybody, not just a Band-Aid situation.
thank you.
If there are problems in the future, do we know how to get hold of him again?
Ask him what he thinks we should do.
So, Mr. Stuckey, if we do have issues in the future, how can we get to the escalation team?
Yeah, Connie has my email, and you guys can definitely email me directly. And I'm here Sunday through Thursday. I know a lot of these seem to be vacation homes, so if you're there on a Sunday, you can always touch base with me. I'm here from 8 to 4:30, and sometimes a little after that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else have any questions about the Zito, the repairs and the issues with that? Okay, the next part of this is something that Mr. Stuckey isn't really handling. The next part of this was because of one of the letters that came in. It was from somebody in Lakeside. And I think the simple question was, just of it was, when are we going to get extension here? So that email got sent over to Mr. Stuckey, and he forwarded it on to a Dean Hassel, I'm saying his name wrong. Help me with his last name.
Yeah, I forwarded it over to Dean Russell. He's the manager for North Carolina.
Yes, and so he came out the next day and surprised us, basically. And I asked Scott to take him around because he was asking about where we don't have access to internet. And he took him down by Lakeside. He was familiar with the top of the mountain also, and he was familiar with the area out on Thunder Island. So he has been working with people out here and touching base with them in the past, which I was kind of surprised. He knew our little town. So this is what he called me about 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, and he said he's not going to be able to be on the meeting tonight, but he and Mr. Regas, the president of Zito, are putting together a plan, and they will present it to us at our October meeting. And that's where we're at with that. That's a whole nother side of this with the fiber optics and improving all that. But this job of Mr. Stuckey is basically get the repairs done, get this in our individual homes. So we had two different things going on that just kind of evolved. So I hope that explains it.
I have a question, Mr. Stuckey. Is there a way for you to monitor the people that have Zito in our town so that you will know that there's a problem before we have to call you?
Yeah, so what we do is we do something called proactive maintenance. So we have a live monitoring system called Dora, and what it does is I can go to, most of you are on that too, so I can go on that too. It will show me live if there's any signal issues, and I can click and create that maintenance ticket for the maintenance team to go out there. And that's what we try to do, is do that proactive maintenance before it causes a bigger issue like the constant outages and stuff like that. So that's what we're working on. Really staying focused with this area, and hopefully that will, like I said, be a long-term fix for all your guys' issues.
Okay, great, yeah, that would be great, thank you very much.
Does Zeno have any plans for fiber optics?
As of right now, I'm not sure about this specific area, but I do know in Robbinsville we are building out some fiber.
Yes, and I do believe we'll get a full report from Mr. Russell when they prepare. They're working on something, and I don't know what it is. And I told him that nothing would be even, we would approach it as a council, and everybody would have a chance to see what they hand over to us, and that's where we're going to handle it at that time. So. Okay, so is there anyone else? Yes, sir, go ahead.
Just a few questions, and my name is Roger Carlton. Thank you for the work you've done, and I'm not sure whether you could answer these questions, but if you could take them to the right person in the company and report on them in October, that would be helpful. First, Lakeside has a requirement to be underground. According to the developer, the conduit is there and available. So if you could report on whether that's usable and whether you would be able to serve Lakeside as an underground facility in October, that would be appreciated. Just so you know, there's been no authority from the Homeowners Association to enter into any kind of negotiation, but I'm sure there would be great interest if you have a proposal. Second, I believe that Zito has received more than $4 million in federal money passed through the state, and the county has added some money to serve unserved areas. And can you report today, or maybe in October, if any of that $4 million has been allocated to Santeetlah, or is it committed elsewhere in Greene County?
To be completely honest, I don't see anything about the funding. That would definitely be a question for Mr. Rigas and Mr. Wilson. So I can definitely go ahead and type down these questions and get that over with them.
Okay, thank you. And then, is Mr. Rigas a descendant of the Rigas who was involved in Adelphia Cable?
There is relation there, yes. That is his father.
That was his father. Okay, well, was there any legalities involved with the Adelphia Cable situation that your Mr. Rigas was involved in?
I'm not exactly sure on that. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. I'm just, so that issue needs to be cleared up, I think, before the town moves forward with any sort of discussion or negotiation. But anyway, if you just put that on the record, ma'am, and put it in the minutes of this meeting.
Roger, for clarification, the county received, well, Zito received for Graham County about $480,000 was the amount that we were told by Senator Corbin.
The number's almost $4 million altogether, as I understand it.
I think from what Senator Corbin said, wasn't it? It was.
It's a much lower number, but this is why I wanted
I
the
think you need to
senator, the
verify
expert.
that.
I want the expert, which is Senator Corbin, to speak about this, because he's the one that put this all together.
Corbin is a state official, isn't he?
He is the state senator, yes.
So you should also contact your congressman to see how much direct federal money is coming.
Well, I'm going to start with Senator Corbin, because I have a contact with him, and he was supposed to be here, but he's traveling from Raleigh right now to Franklin. He wasn't able to join us. But he's happy to speak. He will be happy to speak on that. Because we had quite the conversation in his office about that. So he is the expert.
Corbin's been very active in the broadband.
Well, I understand, and he's
He's
done a good
responsible.
job on it, but I just think the total number
Okay.
that's committed to Graham County from all funds should be public, and whether we're getting any of it should also be public as part of this process.
And Mr. Corbin will be willing to answer that question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else for Mr. Stuckey? No? Thank you very much, Daniel. We're just going to continue with the business of Lake Santeetlah, and I appreciate you joining us.
Alrighty, thank you. I look forward to hearing from you guys if you have any issues. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate everything. Okay, so next I'd like to go ahead and do the certificate of for public comment. Do we have public comment?
You doing Ralph or you doing comment?
I was going to do Ralph's next, but I mean, public comment would be next, actually, officially. Should we do public comment? Okay, go ahead then.
We get a list. Do we get a list?
Or Ralph.
He's going.
I'm going to do the physical ones first, or see if anybody on Zoom wants one first.
Is there anybody on Zoom that wants to speak? Please raise your hand.
Ralph.
Ralph, Alan, David.
Yeah.
No, wrong Ralph, he's just saying.
Ralph's strong.
Ralph and Alan were the only two that I saw that raised their hand. Anyone else?
Anyone else on Zoom? Okay, thank you.
I believe that's it, Scott.
All right.
Can I just say one thing before we go forward with this? Roger, I will forward you an email from Senator Corbin's office. It says they did receive from it's called the Grants for Internet Expansion in District 50. So his whole district received almost $4 million. The Graham County, it says, on behalf of the North Carolina Department of Information Technology's Division of Broadband and Digital Equity, Zeta West Holding LLC has been selected for $619,916.65 in funding. The required match for this project is $109,397.06. These funds are intended to expand broadband across the approximately 217 households and businesses within the county. And then it lays out how much, like Clay County got a lot of money, Macon, Transylvania.
Tina, I believe that
I
that
will
is
forward that to you.
state money from the state budget.
It is.
I think what it doesn't count is federal money from the post-COVID billions that were allocated to internet because of the impact on school children from not having any access during COVID. So please make sure you have both numbers.
Right, well, I think that's part of what some of this came from federal, but I just sent it to you so you can read the whole thing and see.
Okay, can we start with public comment now? Who's first on our list?
So, Mr. Strunk, you want to go ahead?
Yes. At the town hall, there is a recycle bin. I have been here over 2 years, and I know a lot of other people have moved here in those 2 years, and we never received like a blurb about what is acceptable there, and if the township makes any money off of like aluminum cans or anything. So can we get some information about the recycles?
There is a sign that on the recycle bin that tells you what you can put inside that trailer. And as far as the town getting money off of it, it varies. I mean, 13 cents, 7 cents, it's not much. But there is a sign located on the trailer that tells you what you can put in and what can't.
Yeah, but who's gonna go there and look at the sign?
Okay, I'll point it out to you, it's right there, it's giant, it's the whole side of the container. And Scott is nice enough, he takes it down on Wednesdays to dump it at the recycle place. And sometimes they are overfilled, so he has to go a different day, but he keeps good care of it, and I appreciate you doing that. Okay, Mr. Shark, is that all? Do you have anything else to add? Ralph? Truck?
No.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, next on our list.
All right, Alan?
Yeah, I just wanted to try to remind Roger and others that when we have corporate partners that are willing to work with us to improve their service, we need to not, at the outset, automatically put them in a defensive posture. We need to work with them. Zeno seems to be trying to right the wrongs in the town of Santeetlah. And my internet is already better. It's always going to be improved, but let's wait before we put the air of suspicion out there immediately about some nefarious doings. Until maybe some time passes and it's obvious that we're being ignored or we're not getting any state funds, or Zeno says, forget that now. I just don't appreciate that tone with a corporate partner, which is what they are, willing to fix some of the problems we're having in town. That time might come, sure, but I don't think it's appropriate right now. That's all I want to say to that point.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan. Who's next, please?
All right, Jack.
I had a community member request that I read this letter out. It says, Dear Mayor Conley, unfortunately I am not able to attend this month's meeting. I would like to commend you, though, for the excellent work you have done with Zito Media. Since your intervention, our service has been much improved, and Zito has been very proactive in making sure our service is on and it's at its best signal. We have had such a major problem with their service, and it is futile to call them as they have been very unresponsive. However, your contacting the right person has changed all of that. They have been monitoring our signal strength, and if it is low, they call us. Simply remarkable. Thank you for stepping up and taking this seriously, even though it is not really a mayoral problem. It demonstrates to us that you are genuine about the well-being of our community, and Mike and I very much appreciate that, and you. Thank you. Best regards, Mike and Steph.
Thank you, Michael and Steph. I appreciate the kind words. It's been an adventure. Is there anyone else who's next?
Joe.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment that at the last TPOA meeting, I commented on the election dates being posted by my wife and finally removed, and Jack objected to. We fact checked that with Teresa Garland, and she contacted the office and said it is appropriate and posted the dates. It is not a campaign violation, it's public information, and just a fax check, here you are. Is it back up?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they're up, and they came from the right source. It had to come from, it came from Ms. Colbert, and it's
That's
all
where it comes
correct.
from.
It was my source. She gave it to me.
Yes, that's
I'm a
fine.
council
No,
person.
and it's allowed, but
You disallowed it.
you're right, I did, because the first one actually had an error on it, but I'm not going to go into detail, because Teresa works very hard. What's next? Who's next on the list?
Roger.
Just one quick thing.
Yes.
After a storm, when a tree went down and took out some of the communications on this sharp curve over here, they came in and cut up the tree and just left it on the side of the road. And it's still there. If I were to describe where it is, it's probably north of...
Are you saying on the main road?
Yes.
Yeah.
And is that going to be cleaned up by the town, or what's the expectation? It's been there more than a month now.
Well, that's technically this state road.
Has the town requested the state to come in and do it?
Well, that I don't know.
I don't know, but if you'll write it down, and we'll ask the state to come in and remove them.
What was with the water, the fire hydrant next to that tree?
There was a homeowner who had below that, Mr. Poole, something had shifted with the water in his, and it's affecting his foundation. Something drastic has changed. And so he thought it might be that fire hydrant, and being that it's so low and it's not, so I dug it out to ensure that there wasn't any issues from that. And the valve needed to be cleaned out and stuff as well.
So on the tree?
Oh, it didn't have any, no,
Okay.
no. So So
right
anyway,
there.
that was just a thing to try to help him to figure out what's wrong with the, whatever his ship is in the underground water. So,
Is there any more public comment?
Yeah.
yeah, there's, you're done, rather, Diana.
Okay. I'd like to apologize to those offended by my not attending the August 10th council meeting. I was aware that Ralph Mitchell and family were visiting the lake. I assumed that he would attend the meeting and there would be a quorum. I assumed wrong. I left at 8:30 in the morning to drive to Atlanta for a flight out in the afternoon. I didn't have any phone service to call town hall. So, sorry that it made such a big uproar. And the second point is, you may notice that the sheriff's office is in attendance. Once again, he is here as Mayor Gross's armed bodyguard, paid for by the town resources. His job is to provide security for the town, not to serve the mayor. He wasn't required to attend the August special meeting called while I was in Canada. Mayor Gross refused my request to have him not attend tonight. I feel this is a personal intimidation and political theater.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last one is Betty.
Connie, I have a couple of items concerning TPOA. Do you want me to say them now or wait until the...
Can you wait, because I'd like to do the...
Item 6?
Yes, I'd like to have...
And the only thing I want to say publicly is everybody seems to be cooling it today, and let's keep it that way and not insult anybody. And when it's their turn to talk, do not interrupt.
Okay. All righty, so let's move on with the meeting, please. We are going to go to our old business number 1, which is a certificate of gratitude for Senator Corbin to Mr. Ralph Mitchell. So if we could get Ralph to be front and center on the screen and pull up, can you go to the picture, the photograph? Or are you able to? This is the photo of Mr. Corbin signing the certificate. And the certificate is up in Ohio where Mr. Mitchell is now. His son brought it up and he's holding it. Can we put him on the full screen, Kayla? If you have Alan on there.
I think if they talk,
I think you-
they'll talk.
Ralph? Ralph?
There you go.
Thank you. All righty. So what you have in front of you, sir, is an appreciation that you are the oldest. There's a small picture of what you're looking at. That was us. That's us getting that certificate signed. You, sir, have the privilege of being the oldest elected official in the state of North Carolina. So I want to thank you for your service. You are welcome.
Can you turn
Can you
it
turn it
around?
around so you can show us on camera here? Just turn it around for us.
Nice.
There you are. I don't know. Senator Corbin was going to try to call in. He's traveling from Raleigh to Franklin, and apparently he hasn't been able to connect. So he was going to personally thank you, but he sends his condolences for that.
His best regards.
His best regards. Thank you. All right, thank you. So let's move on. Thank you, Ralph. Update on the Golden Leaf Grant Committee. Do you want to say something, Ralph?
Yeah, I only have 6 more years to make 100 years old. Well, it's up to you.
All righty. Well, Well, you're looking good, sir, and we miss you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Okay, now, let's get the update on the Golden Leaf Committee. Grant. Scott, you want to fill us in a little bit about where you're at with preparing?
Yeah, so we got the culvert in today. I've got to get the gravel tomorrow, and then everything will be ready for James. He's planning on starting the last week of September, and then I think he said it'd take somewhere between 2 to 3 weeks.
Where is this culvert?
The culvert is it's the one from the so I actually did 2 culverts. The one with the golden leaf is it's under Johnny Cochran's driveway, where the water just washes over. And so being that we're ditching everything, it would have just created a huge problem. So that was in the grant, not estimate, grant application. And then there was a wall that has fallen, Melissa Anderson and Chris's wall. And so they're, being that they were going to have to redo all that, the culvert, there was an 80 feet of culvert under theirs that was really kind of small. So I replaced 80 feet of culvert for that. They let us go in there, and they're going to do their wall over that. So that will take care of Santeetlah Trail. Then he's got several from the Golden Leaf grant. There's some on Black Bear, 2 places that will be ditched, and then a lot on Snowbird.
The one by the mailbird or mailboxes, will that be addressed?
That's not part of the Golden Leaf grant, but he's given us, James Aldridge brothers are giving us several estimates, just of small places here and there, and that's one of them.
Okay.
So yeah.
But not part of Golden Leaf.
Sorry, what was that?
Not part of Golden Leaf, that would be.
It's not part of Golden
the
Leaf.
Cal bill money
We'll receive
or-
those estimates,
Right.
and then we'll make a decision whether or not they want to do them while they're here. So that's why it's 2 to 3 weeks.
Do we have budget to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have. Okay, so real quick, the firemen and first responder, thank you. Kayla, can you pull up the pictures? Yeah. Kim, can you pull up the pictures of that? I won't spend too much time because I promised Diana I wouldn't, but it was a rainy afternoon, but it turned out to be a wonderful day. And the thought I had is that these people would come out and respond to us, whether it was raining, snowing, hailing, or whatever. So I wanted to be there for them. I think it was quite successful in donations. I'm hoping, I think at the table they received a little over 1,600 in just that one gathering. They have their new fire station building up. I saw trucks in it a couple days ago. You want to give us just a quick?
Yeah, sure. And just on behalf of the Santeetlah Volunteer Fire Department, over 6,000 came in. Not including with the town.
Wow. Oh, that's such a great.
Really appreciate that. We still have to finish the building. We have to get ready for the heated and stuff for the trucks this winter, so we still got a little bit to do. So, but anyway, on behalf of the whole department, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Wow, thank you. Oh, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased.
Emergency call that you need to.
No.
Okay, so then also to the report on the great annual dinner and the Southwest Commission dinner. I went to both of them. Diana went to the Southwest Commission dinner too. The great dinner, I have some printed information. I won't spend too much time, but GREAT is a wonderful organization. They're doing so much for local things throughout the county, for school children, big brother, sister programs, and feeding people, and on down the list. So I'll be happy to put that information out. It was a very interesting meeting. I met a lot of people and networked with a lot of people, which is always a good connections to make. The Southwest Commission dinner was held in Silver at a winery, and it was a beautiful event. A lot of guest speakers, and it was very well put on, so I really enjoyed socializing with people then. If you want to add something about it?
It was good barbecue from Haywood Barbecue in, what is that, Dillsboro? And lovely event space. So
very nice.
if anybody needs any kind of event space, it was really, really a nice space.
So I want to thank them and thank Greg for inviting someone from town to attend, so appreciate that. Update on the pressure tanks on the top of the mountain?
So they still, one tank is functioning, the other isn't, and he told me hopefully it'll be this month, so I'll be out of town next week, so I probably will call him when I get back. It won't be
Some
next
people
week.
might not know what happened. Do you want to tell them what happened? Would be.
All right, but
Do you want to let Betty go? I was joking.
no, so the two tanks, one of them leaked, it wasn't working at all, and then the other one was, and I had to replace a water leak, and I didn't close one of the valves I should have, and so thankfully the one that didn't work, it was destroyed. The one that works was not, so by God's grace, it's the same thing. But hopefully that rushes up when the guy will come to come back to replace both of the
All
tanks.
about plumbing.
Yeah,
And
he
it
gave an
kind of
estimate.
exploded on itself.
Yes.
It wasn't just like it just went kaput.
Leak through the
It just went
bladders
like-
or?
Yeah, thankfully it was the one that wasn't working before, because had it been the other way,
We would have been in trouble. Yeah.
well, I would have been in trouble.
No, you never get in trouble. But this is the first step to keeping water supplying the top of the mountain. You know, and this had to be completed and plumbing had to be done before any visions of generators and such. So this is one of the first
Yeah,
steps.
it's the first step toward that.
Yes.
And we had budgeted for the tanks in the budget that we passed, and so it went. I mean, we weren't expecting it to go kaput.
But the money was
But the money was
allotted,
there. We
it
had
was there,
budgeted,
yes.
knowing that they were not.
That's good.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, TPOA, would you like to give us
Yes, thank you.
your time, please?
Okay, I have 3 items, and the first one I need to unring a bell. Anybody's ever tried that? That's not an easy thing to do.
You're standing in front of the camera, turn around this way. So you're on Facebook. I just started giving you a little.
Oh, there it is.
No, it's on the TV, is where our
You get a vote.
Maybe stand over here, Betty. Stand over here this way.
Come on over here, because Facebook is picking you up on his phone, and the camera is picking you up on our TV, so.
Okay, we'll get this going. Okay, at the Monday night meeting, I made a comment about if somebody plans to run for council, to send a bio for your candidates. And the TPOA newsletter staff has been advised to avoid printing candidate information in the TPOA newsletter, as it may be misinterpreted as a political maneuver. Instead, we will run a Know Your Neighbors column, as we have done in the past, featuring neighbors, of course, whose information is on file by our deadline of October 5th. Any political information or references will be edited out of the column. Bios submitted constitute the writer's agreement to this change. For those who have already submitted their bios and who disagree with this change, please notify me by email in order to rescind your submission. Bios will be printed in alphabetical order. Please note, this change is in keeping with TPOA's status as a non-political entity. The Know Your Neighbor column can be categorized as news you can use. My second item is the bulletin board. This is in regard to the bulletin board at the front entrance, which was purchased and maintained by TPOA as an informational vehicle for both TPOA and town notices. I'm sure it was just an oversight, but TPOA was not informed that our bulletin board locks were changed. We found out when 2 of our board members attempted to post notices on the right side that were heretofore used for both TPOA and town notices, leaving the left side of the board for community use, i.e. business cards and an area map. It is our understanding that the town wants TPOA to use the left side of the board, which means removal of all business cards, etc., so that we have room for our TPOA notices and other postings. End of summer fun. Now for the fun part. I want to send out a warm Lake Santeetlah thank you to the TPOA Planning Committee for a fantastic end of summer party at Chalet Village. A major player for the event was Becky Block, who made arrangements for the band, including overnight housing. Others who helped pull off this amazing event were Chief Grill Master Greg Connor, Chief Canopy Setupper Scott Camps, and the chief organizer and the glue that held everything together, Francis Connor.
Thank you.
Over 60 attendees danced to a wide variety of tunes provided by the Men Without Memories band. Particularly entertaining were the unique dance steps exhibited by Scott Camp's crew of kids.
So cute.
Thank you, those who helped out in any way. What a great time, filled with smiles and hugs and good conversations. Congratulations, TPOA Planning Committee, for a great event.
Thank you. Very well done.
Did you mention the lots? I'm sorry. You
She did.
You did?
Yes, she
Okay.
did.
I was thinking.
Okay, so then we're going to move on to business stuff. Budget amendment for the grant funds, action needed. You should have that.
Does they still have Emily Hoover as the top on it?
Printed that way?
The one that was sent out showed Emily Hoover still.
It does.
No, I just failed to change that. I'll change it and get Kayla on there. But the budget amendment is just to add the grant funds into the budget as revenue and as an expense. Trying to find it here.
Do you need it?
72,697.
I'll make a motion to approve it
With that correction.
with the correction.
I'll second.
Thank you. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. I'll sign that after the meeting. The next one is,
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I'll have to correct it, Connie, if you'll come in on Monday, I'll get, or Kayla can just line through the name of their name at the bottom of it.
all right, we'll take care of it. Thank you.
Yeah.
The next on our agenda would be the water shortage response plan, which is WSRP. It's a resolution. This was prepared by Lamar, who is our water technician person. This is a state document. It's, I've read through it. It's basic. I don't know if anybody has any questions on it as far as it has to give us instructions if we have water shortages, basically state level things.
Is this the first time we've done this?
It's the first time
No.
I've seen it, but that doesn't mean.
No, it just renewed.
Okay.
So we've had to do this, we have to keep this on file, I think it goes back to the state. Yeah, it does.
Okay. We probably cannot, well, I don't know, but, and Bo's on the call, but on page 4, it says if it's a first draft, it can be approved, but all subsequent revisions of the draft will be published at least 30 days prior to the adoption vote. So if this is the second one, I don't know if we have to have the 30 days to allow.
Well, we had to send it, we actually had to send it back to them, and I think Kayla did that. She sent it back and they had to approve it. Is that right, Kayla?
Yes, and they sent a letter saying that they did approve it, but it would need to be adopted, voted, and then I have to send that back.
Okay,
Right.
so it's no longer a draft.
Yeah,
Right,
so
because
they
they
didn't
did.
have the 30 days, so I don't know if nothing has changed. I don't know if we have to have that.
What was the reason for the rewrite? Send it back?
When was there a rewrite?
It just has to be updated every 5 years,
Okay.
and there was nothing changed. All I did was put
Today's
like
date.
Santeetlah and the date, yes.
Okay. So this is what was signed 5 years ago, it's a plan, 5-year
I'm
document.
just, we put it in, this is our plan, and the plan says public comment.
Okay,
So that's why I'm bringing that up, so,
okay.
because this is supposed to be our town of Lake Santeetlah water
Right.
short response plan.
Right, which is this document here, if anybody wants to see it. Okay, so Shane, can I get a motion to pass this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No.
No. Okay, thank you.
I think that needs to be clarified, though. We were supposed to do
Okay,
it.
well, she'll clarify that and get this document moving in the right direction. Okay, so then the next is the Zito meter, update, I already did that. Final public comment, if anyone has any public comment. I do have some discussion items or announcements, I kind of wrote these out. Can I just say this before we get with more final public comments? We have a new mail carrier. The old one, we scared him off. That was Scott Hooper. He couldn't handle it out here, so he's no longer our mail carrier. So we have a whole different person, and this is a lady who owns an insurance company, and everyone would know her husband is a local electrician out here. But they are taking over our route, and they're trying their best. She calls me and says, where's so-and-so house, and where's this and this. So let's make every effort to try to make their job easier so they don't quit too.
Is it allowed to, I mean, there's a pile of boxes on our mailbox there at Thunderbird.
If the person, yes, if the owner of
I
that
don't
mail.
know, one package has been there for 2 weeks, and now there's 2 more packages. Normally, they might leave a slip saying pick it up at the post office, but I don't know that they're doing that now.
Well,
But I thought I might drive up there and see who it belongs to.
She told me, her name is Jessica, and she told Jessica Blivens, and she told me that if they have permission from the person, they can leave it there. And that's what she does. So I don't think we need to get involved with that. If she sees it long enough, she'll do something about it, I'm sure, but we're not post office people. We have to stay out of it. We're not even supposed to touch mail.
Oh, I thought you delivered some mail to Joy Freeman.
Okay, well.
Somebody missed.
So anyways, this isn't our job, and I want to make sure that's clear. But just try to help her find these properties. Also, when we had this is a little bit old time, because we had a tree go down there knock down those Duke wires. I was scared to death when I found out that. I was just, walking out there wondering what's going on, and Scott was cutting things. So the whole idea is Duke says just wait until help comes before you even try to cut a tree, because you don't know if it's a live wire and it can jump and it's serious, so we have to be careful. The planning board is having a meeting on September 20th. You should see the notices. They're posted at 1 p.m.
And that will be in person and on Zoom? Or just on Zoom?
In person and Zoom?
Yes,
Okay.
should be.
It should be. Okay, did it get posted correct? I don't know if it did.
I thought on the
I
bulletin
saw
board
it,
it said.
They're all usually, but I may not put Zoom on there, but it does.
I think it says
and by Zoom.
I think
So
it
I'll
said via
send out
Zoom.
Zoom
It
link.
says only via Zoom.
Yeah, it says via Zoom, doesn't
So-
say town hall.
So it needs to be reprinted and put in person and Zoom, because people aren't going to know to come. They're going to think it's only on Zoom. Okay, thank you with that. Yes, I'm just going over a couple fast little updates. Water billing, an email went out, please check your water billing, make sure you're billed, because the new bills are getting ready to go out. We don't want anybody to have a late fee. Okay, so now, last public comment. Who wants to speak?
I do.
I want to thank Officer Loveland for his attendance at these meetings. One of the biggest things his being here has done has mannerized the people sitting out here. The sly comments and silly remarks and rebuttals and that have gone way down. And I think it's because the man sits there, professional as he is, and he's doing a good job. And I thank you for it, sir.
Thank you. Does anyone else have something? Yes, please.
Who is the sheriff that takes turns around the mountain?
He's right there.
That's you. I want to thank you. I'm going to stand up and say this. It was a Chihuahua release
my son-in-law and my daughter came up and we went down to Topeka. And coming back, I had a big dog in the back seat of a Jeep and it was hot and I was going, I have got to get out of this Jeep. I was so dizzy. I bent over and I went down right there coming into the entrance.
Oh, my God.
And my son-in-law said, call 911.
That's last year, or it's been several months ago.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have to call 911 because you were there. And you had 911 and they got me out of that ravine and it was very scary, but thank you so much. I was hoping I'd run into you. It was scary. I was scared. But, so that's a positive comment. I like that.
Thank you. I like positive comments, and I do appreciate you being here, Sergeant Loving.
Oh, thank you so much.
Does anybody have something else to share?
I have a public comment, and hopefully this is what the planning board is meeting to address, but as a citizen and not a candidate and not as an elected official, I and Alan Davidson, as a citizen and not as a candidate, put together a new zoning that we hope would be accepted. And I have some papers I can hand out at the end of the meeting that compares the old, well, the current zoning with the proposal. And basically it's to bring the town, all of our homes more into conformity and single family, no businesses or whatever's been approved for business can stay, but it's a little more simpler, and I have information on that. And hopefully that's why the planning board is meeting, because we've petitioned the government, and we're allowed to petition the government. And so we are asking them to look at this, and according to North Carolina statutes, they should, within 30 days, make a statement about it, and then it would go forward to the town council and hopefully on, so that everyone can have a comment, that they can look at it, see if they like it, they don't like it, make changes to it, make changes to the current one, something different.
So you want public comments sent to you?
No, I would like to have open public hearings, comments, people.
As an individual?
Not to me, Diana, to the planning board and to the town council. I and Alan did it as individuals.
Okay. Has this been reviewed or prepared by an attorney?
It was prepared by Alan and I, if you...
Has it been reviewed by an attorney? Do you have any kind of legal help? Or just this big book?
I have this big book, and I have done a lot of reading. This is a planning book, which just came out in 2023. And I mean, I'm not talking from a council person right now, I'm talking as a public this is a public comment. So I'm not talking as a planning board person.
Well, you've answered my questions.
Oh, I didn't know I had to answer questions.
Alan wanted to say something. Do you want a public comment for the last?
But the current zoning has many flaws. I've said it for 2 years. I knew that I had to write something that made sense for the town, was it helped to fit the town and how it developed. I'm very experienced with zoning. Your current zoning ordinance was reviewed by a lawyer. There are a lot of things in the ordinance that do not line up with North Carolina law. There are many things that don't, that actually aren't enforceable based on how the town developed. It's very confusing. People basically just ignore it. I mean, you pass this ordinance, you spend a lot of money and time on it, people are ignoring it. A simplified ordinance that
This is out of order.
is easier for people to understand, they'll be willing to follow it if it's in the spirit of what the town and how the town develops. And I'm sorry, but I know I've stepped on a lot of toes and hurt a lot of people's feelings, but you know, this is important. And I think it's a much simpler, common sense ordinance, and it should be I'm requesting that my neighbors and my fellow community members just consider it. Just read it and think about it and see what you think. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else have final public comment? Yes, Roger, what would you like to say?
With all due respect, I believe that I can't fathom how you can be a citizen proposing an ordinance and then be the member of this council and vote on it. So I just don't get that, and maybe you could explain how you can do those two things. But that's my first question. My second one is, I believe the town attorney is on the phone.
He's on our Zoom call. Bo, are you
I
here?
think that what was said today by the two proponents is extraordinarily prejudicial without any response from anybody relative to this proposal. Now, I'm not arguing with your right to make a proposal, fine. But to sit there and say, I'm a citizen with my proposal, but I'm a commissioner to vote on it, is to me, and maybe to your attorney, maybe not, a blatant conflict, and you ought to be one or the other, but not both. As relates to this prejudicial conversation from both of you advocating for your proposals, is beyond comprehension how he's not stopping this from happening. This is not a...
You mean during the public comment period, Roger?
Excuse me,
Public comment
this is not a public hearing on the proposal. And two advocates for those have just given 5-minute speeches each about why it's a good thing. That is inappropriate, and I would hope your attorney would ask that that be stricken from the record as prejudicial towards what will happen when there is a true public hearing on this, when the planning board meets and discusses, when it comes back to you and whatever you all are going to do. So I'm asking it's not up to me, hopefully one of you would do it, whether the town attorney finds that to be an appropriate series of comments, and how he differentiates between a commissioner as a citizen and a commissioner who has to vote. I don't understand that.
I was talking to about it as
Two separate issues.
If the town,
We're not going to
I didn't ask Alan, I asked the
Let's
town
not go
attorney,
back and forth, we're not doing
you.
questions and answers.
Okay,
This is getting to be...
there's the University of North Carolina School of Government did a survey. Yes, it's in this book, which is a brand new book that just came out. Most text amendments for zoning come from the governing council. So if the governing council of most cities or counties put forward an amendment, does that mean then that they can't vote on it? So I came forward with just asking for people to look at something. I don't think that our version will be accepted. I'm not saying to rubber stamp it at all. I'm asking to have a talk about it. That's what I'm asking.
But that, I'm sorry for responding, but that's fine. If you want to propose something, I really don't have a problem with it. But I think the town attorney has to rule if you can vote on it, and I don't think it was appropriate at this time to make a speech in favor of it. Yours less intense than the other one. I just think that goes over the line. There's time for debate of this ordinance at the planning board and when it eventually comes to you. Not tonight. That was an inappropriate advocacy in my mind.
Okay, that's your public comment. I'm going to end public
I
comment.
have the
Just
first
to
one.
get out of
I
here.
almost tried to.
Let's move on, please. We have to move on. I want to do something, Alan, I'd rather you didn't because we don't need a back and forth. It's not going to end up anywhere. It's just going to be back and forth. You were allowed, sir, I feel you were very much, I feel,
freedom of speech.
can I just say, I'm going to say that. I feel that you were very allowed to say whatever you wanted to say during public comment. And that's what you did, so thank you for that. And that's what you're allowed. He could say what he wants during public comment, and she can say what she wants. Diane got to say what she wants using public comment as an umbrella. So thank you for your words.
He doesn't want her to have her say.
Let's not take offense. Okay, we've got it, recap on.
Trust me,
I'm sorry, and your public comment is just
You
as strong and
instruct to
loud as
shut him
somebody
off,
else's.
please.
Let's I'm going to jump to announcements. The regular scheduled meeting is, the next one is going to be October 12th at 5:30 PM.
Michael, did not finish the comments.
Mr. Shuck, I think we're done with public comment, sir.
You didn't finish it.
What do you want to finish, what do you need finished? Did you have something else to say?
I do.
Oh, well then please, we didn't know your hand was up, we didn't recognize you.
Listen, I have a little problem on my property, and I am very disappointed that the township does not have an ordinance covering extremely dangerous dead trees that may fall on roadways or other properties. And that's my comment.
Thank you, Ralph. We do have policy. In fact, if you'd like to come in the office and see, you'd be able to understand what we do about dangerous trees. And you're welcome to have a conversation with Scott, because he's he has talked to you? Okay. Well, then you've had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Camp about it. All right, thank you. Is there anyone else? Did I not see anybody else wanting public comment on Zoom?
I just have one. I mentioned several months ago about the website being so outdated.
Oh, I know. Would you volunteer to work with me on that?
No, I'm not capable of doing that.
Well, Kayla, would you please, and Kim, would you please make another effort to call? They are supposed to be contacting Ms. Birchfield, who is the one that, I think her name's Birchfield? Buchanan? She's the one that developed the website, so she should be the one to repair, change it. I agree with you 100%. So we'll put another effort out to make a call to her.